Yo, what's going on, guys? Back, and today we got a brand new video back on Bitcoin. But first, you already know what we have to do. If you are not subscribed, make sure you smash that subscribe button because we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. But Bitcoin doing absolutely nothing. It is not moving at all. It is being insanely boring. If we look at this weekly chart for Bitcoin, it is insanely boring. These are the last 3 weeks of Bitcoin with just nothing going on. I mean, we've bounced off of this bottom line here, but we've just had nothing. I mean, we had this huge run up here, a lot of like movement on the first week, and then just kind of into absolutely nothingness for these next 2 weeks. But that'll bring in this video right here. This is a great kind of thought on Bitcoin and investing and stuff like that when you have great assets. So this was 3 years ago, but his point still stands. It is absolutely spot on.
Before we go, Bitcoin was under 8,000 earlier today.
Buy it.
Regardless, though, of the drop. If I said to you Bitcoin dropped to 5,000, you'd say buy it.
Buy it. Because here's the thing. The daily price of Bitcoin doesn't matter. It's been alive for 10 years. In every year, other than one, 2015, it's made a higher low. The market cap has grown every single year. Every fundamental indicator of Bitcoin, usage, wallets, block size, transaction size, number of transactions, every single one, hash rate, making new highs. All of the indicators of the network and the network value are rising. The price of any asset fluctuates. Let's take Amazon. Amazon's been a public company for 20 years. In every year, including this year, it's at a double-digit drawdown. The average peak to trough, minus 31%. Twice, minus 90%. When was the right time to sell? Never. Who's owned it since the IPO to today? Jeff and his mom and dad. That's it.
All right. We're going to leave it there, Mark.
All right,
Good to
thanks.
see you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
having me.
Mark Yusko, Morgan Creek Capital.
Outcast.
So that is the perfect way to think of assets. When you have a great asset, you don't sell it. Amazon was a great asset and a great company, even when it fell 90%. So when you have an asset that is absolutely fantastic, that fundamentally is completely sound, you don't sell it because of day-to-day price action. You should pay attention to the fundamentals, the hash rate, the wallet addresses, how many wallets there are on the network, and network growth and adoption, all this stuff, which undoubtedly is completely fantastic. We have countries adopting it, companies adopting it, a lot of people still coming out of the network, hash rate recovering from when it got dumped, and it's just everything moving in the right direction. So when you have Bitcoin or a great asset, you don't pay attention to the day-to-day price moves because ultimately they don't matter, because day-to-day can go up and down like this, but a decade just goes up like this. So, you know, we have to not be worried about day-to-day, which is a lot easier said than done. And we're seeing it tick up in the hash rate right now. So last time we looked at the hash rate, this was at this peak 159, and then it had this little collapse here, not collapse, but downtrend. It went down, and then now it's back up above where it was right here very quickly. So when we can use the hash rate as a leading indicator. So if the price fell and then recovered back up, we'll go to the daily just to get a better look. So we saw the hash rate really recovering here, and then the hash rate was going down when this was up here around 67,000, and ultimately what we see it come back down. Now we're seeing the hash rate recover, and it's above where it was when it was 67,000. But how high is this actually going to go? Because if we look at the hash rate, it's not at its all-time highs, so 180, it's at 160. So does that make sense for it to have a recovery here and be above where it was when Bitcoin was 67K? Does that mean Bitcoin should be back above 67K? I don't necessarily know if that's true, but if it is a leading indicator, which it has worked out to be in the past a lot of times, especially this year, then we should see Bitcoin kind of at least tick up a little bit, maybe 64, 65,000 to kind of get up to that level. And if we see the hash rate continue to go up, then we might see it kind of stick around this level until it makes a new all-time high. I think will be when we can really cement getting above like this $98,000 level. That's the target for a floor of this month. If we want to get above that, I think we got to see the hash rate go up a lot more. But obviously, getting super bullish if this ran up and broke this all-time high again, and we just see it run up again. And if it broke 70,000, that'd be another benchmark psychological area. Then we could run up and try and get to like 73, 74. Obviously, want to keep going. And the goal from Plan B stock to flow, because of the floor model being $98,000, then the goal to hit this month is probably somewhere around 100 to 105,000, because we're going to overshoot that if that's a floor model. If it goes up to 100,000 and back down to 98 or 97, or goes up to 105,000 and back down to 98 or something like that, if that's the floor model, that's probably more how it's going to work out, and not, kind of steady here, go to like 70K, go to 80K, and then by the end of the month be around 98K. I think it's going to shoot above it and then come back down. But I do think we need to see the hash rate kind of do a little bit better. It's in a good place. It's in a great zone here. It's above, these other lows here. But ultimately 180 is where we want to try and get back to, which was where we were during all-time highs. So this still continues to recover. In the short term, though, if, it doesn't really matter about the hash rate being at all-time highs for Bitcoin's price to be at all-time highs, then we're seeing this come down, spike back up. And if the same thing happens, we would see it come down and spike back up to 67,000 relatively in a short period of time. And we still have some greed in the market, and that is something massively holding us back right now. So the greed with longs and people wanting to make a ton of money, expecting Bitcoin to run to 98K if they're going off Plan B's thing, then they're longing all of these dips in which whales, dump, cause liquidations, get a little bit more Bitcoin. And this has been going on for literally 3 weeks. That's probably why we have such little volatility these last 3 weeks of Bitcoin. But finally, a little tick down, still over 31,000. So the last week, barely moved at all. Like, we were at 30,000 a week ago. You see these two spikes up, and then, there's no spikes down. I wouldn't consider these spikes down, but trending down at least, which is great. Shorts don't know what to do because it just seems like they don't want to short the market because there's extreme support at 60K. We've seen that the last 3 weeks. So they're not confident in shorting the market. It doesn't seem like they want to short the market. Shorts have been like 460 for 3 weeks. It's been the longs that have been killing us because people are being greedy and they want to 10x leverage their stuff and put it on Bitcoin so that if Bitcoin goes up, they can make millions. But it's just, you're not going to be able to win that game when the whales see longs get completely out of control. They're just going to take control and kind of push the price down, liquidate, buy back. And I think we've been seeing that a decent amount for the last 3 weeks, and people continue to be greedy in longs. We look at these liquidations, even this is Bitfinex has 56 Bitcoin liquidated, and then BitMEX has $8.3 million liquidated. I can't remember the last time we had, not longs being liquidated. It seems every single day I look at Data Mesh and this site to look at how this leverage stuff is going every single day. And it seems like every day there's longs being liquidated. Right now we have 5.8 million in shorts that are liquidated. That's the first time in a long time there's been a decent amount of shorts and longs liquidated. You can see right here, this chart, Bitfinex long and short liquidation. So this is just one exchange. The reds are longs being liquidated, greens are shorts. Over the last week or 2 weeks, 14 days, look at how many longs have been liquidated compared to the shorts. It's ridiculous. So until this greed finally leaves the market, which who knows how long that's going to be. We have been here for 3 weeks, almost an entire month, and they haven't left yet. So hopefully we can see people stop burning cash, because that's what they're doing right now. They are burning cash, still being greedy. And it might have to do with the futures ETF that launched. That could have pushed this stuff like a lot further with a lot of money that inflowed from there. So once that dies down, there's not money inflowing anymore. So once that comes back to reality and these longs come back to reality, then we can probably continue moving upward. But until then, it seems like we are in consolidation, and whales and everyone who is buying Bitcoin and just constantly stacking are going to do well in the near-term future. That's going to do it for this video. Bitcoin looking boring. Nothing going on in Bitcoin. So though the longs and greed is gone, I think we're kind of stuck. And that might buy enough time for the hash rate to try and come back up and continue recovering, continue pushing fundamentals forward, which will push the price forward. But as always, guys, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And I'll see you guys in my next video.